Hey, it's Leslie Schmidt. I washed my hands before I got my patient Oscar out. He is sedated today. I'm going to give him some sub-Q fluids under the skin. I've got my equipment needed. I've got some isotonic fluids, which I've chosen to use sodium chloride 0.9%. I have a brand new administration set. I've got an 18 gauge needle to puncture the skin to give the fluids with. And I have my sedated patient. I've got alcohol to clean off the skin before I give it, before I push the needle in, and I've got my gauze sponges here to clean up the skin and to clean afterwards. So what we're going to do is start by opening the administration set and opening the fluid bag, brand new fluid bag. And I have a pump stand here to hang this with. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to introduce the line into the bag. I'm going to pull off the spike cover and pull off the plug that covers the injection port, the spike port. I'm going to push that in there. I'm going to lift the bag up. And we're going to bleed the line of any air bubbles. So I'm going to let that flow all the way to the bottom into this trash can under the table and try to get as many of the air bubbles out of there as we can. So that's done, so I'm going to go ahead and clamp the line off right here. I'm going to be hanging it up on my pump here, pump stand rather, and I'll let you see this in a second. This is my pump stand. There's my clean line that's been bled free of any air bubbles. So we're going to go ahead and attach our sterile 18 gauge needle and remove the cap from the line. And attach the needle. Next we're going to prepare the cat's skin by using alcohol. And I'm going to set the cat up in sternal recumbency. And I've got some towels to prop up under his neck while he's sedated here. I'm going to get his body into his sternal recumbency. Let me get my full socks back on him. And monitored. Okay. So I've got him ready. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to prepare the skin on his back. I'm going to first kind of pinch up our tent. So we've got a tent here to use under the skin, and I'm going to put some alcohol there to prepare his fur. Get you down here. Prepare him. I will be using some alcohol here to prepare his skin. So we're going to do that. And we're going to take our sterile 18 gauge needle, uncap it, and we introduce it into the prepared portion. This cat weighs about 7 pounds, so his total volume he can receive at approximately 12 mg per kg is about 40 milliliters. So I've got that in place. So I'm going to go over here and open my line up. And make sure that stays in place and that my bag has a proper drip rate, and it does. Back over here. We're just going to watch him get this. It's going to take a couple minutes, and this bag has milliliter markers on it for us. So we are going to watch that and just watch it drip in there and make sure that it's patent and flowing. And sometimes if you pick up their fur, that helps. So it started to drip much faster since we started that. So it's going to take a couple of minutes for this to go in subcutaneously. Okay, our patient Oscar is almost done with his fluid administration. While this is going in, I've been kind of massaging his tissue to help to distribute it and for him to absorb it more evenly. And it's just about at the point where we can stop it. When we began the fluid bag, it was at the 50 milliliter mark on here, and I'll show you. And he was only supposed to receive around 40 mils. It's a little hard to judge on these off amounts between the hash marks on this bag. So if we were using a syringe, we could be much more precise for a small volume. Okay, so we're almost finished. So what I'm going to do is let you see the bag. And we're almost at the volume that we need to be at, so we're going to go ahead and stop giving the fluids. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clamp the closure on this line, which is over here. Show you that. It's right here. I'm going to clamp it shut. And what we're going to do now is we're going to pull out of the patient's skin. I'm going to pinch off on the needle and pull and pinch the hole shut. And I'm going to recap this needle too. In just a second, I'm going to stop pinching that for a second so I can recap this needle. And I'm going to go back to pinching his skin. That's going to seal the hole that I put in his skin to keep the fluids from rolling right back out of that little spot until his blood clots and everything go in the skin. So we're going to note that we gave this cat 40 milliliters of fluid sub-Q during his surgery. He had a neuter today in his record. And that is everything on giving fluid therapy subcutaneous to this patient. Thank you.